The night air tastes like metal when I crouch behind Mrs. Callahan's camellia bushes. My knees grind into the dirt, branches scraping my neck as I lower myself even more. Every sense in my body is wide open, screaming, listening, shaking. It's 2:03 a.m. My house sits 20 feet away, lit by a single hallway lamp that flickers like it's afraid of what it's about to witness. Risa appears in the doorway. My wife. My bride of 2 weeks. Her hand trembles around the lock like she's holding back a storm. She pulls the door open slowly, checking over her shoulder like someone taught her how to do this in the dark. The porch light paints her face gold, too soft for this hour, too deliberate for someone who claimed she can't sleep. I raise my phone, thumb hovering over the record button. My heart pounds so loud I'm scared she'll hear it. My breath fogs the air. A part of me already knows I shouldn't be seeing this. Another part needs to. A shadow moves. Broad shoulders. Confident steps. Like a man walking into his own house. I whisper before I can stop myself, "No, this can't be real." The silhouette steps into the porch light, and the world inside me drops straight through the earth. He moves with familiarity. With routine. With something I have never been allowed to see. Risa leans close to him, voice small, urgent, shaking. "Hurry, Drex." The name hits me like a blunt weapon to the ribs. Drex. The same name Leo mumbled once. The same name she never said, never explained, never mentioned in 6 months. My phone shakes in my hand. Sweat drips down my back even though the night is cold. I grip the leaves tighter, steadying myself. A hand clamps onto my shoulder. I almost scream. My whole body jerks, but the hand holds firm, old, bony fingers with strength behind them. "Boy, don't move," a voice whispers. Mrs. Callahan. Her silver hair glows in the moonlight as she leans closer through the bushes, her eyes sharp like she's been awake every night watching this. She doesn't look surprised. She looks like someone who's been waiting for me to see what she's known. I swallow hard. My throat burns with questions I can't ask. I want to step out. I want to charge in. I want to drag Risa away from him and ask her who she really is. But my legs won't move. Fear clamps me down, holds me by the spine. This is when I should tell you who's speaking before you think a stranger is whispering into your night. I'm Jace. And if you're watching this from anywhere around the world, tell me where. Also, hit subscribe so you don't miss what I'm about to walk you through, because the truth I'm standing in right now changes everything I thought I knew about my own house. I return my eyes to the door. Risa grabs Drex's arm like she's begging him not to hesitate. He steps inside, casual, practice. Like he's done it before. Like he's sure I'm miles away on a plane I never boarded. Mrs. Callahan whispers, "Watch his left hand." I do. Drex carries a duffel bag. Heavy. The kind that swings with weight instead of clothes. He drops it just inside the hallway, nudges it with his foot, and locks the door behind him. They disappear into the corridor. I creep a few inches forward, brush crushing under my shoes. The nearest window is the guest room window, the room Risa insisted we never use, the one she kept the curtains drawn for even during the day. Tonight they're cracked. Just enough. I lean forward, pushing a branch aside, pulling breath into my lungs as quietly as possible. Inside the room, I catch a sliver of movement. Drex's hand. Then his bag being dragged across the floor. The zipper glints under the hallway light. He opens it halfway. Something inside shifts. Not fabric. Not shoes. Something hard. Solid. Weapon-shaped. My chest tightens. The breath I pull into my lungs freezes halfway. And right there, through that thin gap in the curtains, I see the outline clearly enough to know my entire life is about to change. That's where the night splits open. And nothing after this moment can ever go back to normal. If I close my eyes, I can still feel the warmth of that night, the night everything started. Not the night in the bushes. The night I met Risa. 2 weeks before the wedding. Feels like a lifetime now. I'd stepped into the lounge with my friends, expecting nothing but noise and bad music. Atlanta's skyline was a sheet of blue glass behind the bar. I was halfway through telling the guys I'd leave early when she walked in. Not walked, glided. Moving like the whole room tilted toward her. Her laugh cut through the bass. Soft, breathy, the kind that melts into the ear instead of bouncing around it. She brushed past me once, just close enough for me to catch her perfume. Sweet, warm, something expensive she probably didn't buy for herself. I didn't say a word. I don't chase women. Not at this age. Not with this history. But she turned back. "Are you always this serious?" she asked. I don't know why I smiled. I don't smile easily. But something about her softened a part of me I didn't know was still alive. We talked. Then looked more. Then more. Hours passed without me realizing it. The city got darker, her eyes got brighter, and by the time the lounge closed, I was walking her to her car, listening to her talk about her son, Leo, like he was her heartbeat walking on 2 legs. The first time Leo met me, he tried to say my name and stuttered. He said shyly, hiding behind her leg. Something in me opened when he said it. Kids don't pretend. Kids don't lie with their faces. He liked me. 2 months later, we were signing papers in a small courthouse. Risa's hand shook when I slipped the ring onto her finger. I thought it was joy. I thought it was nerves. I thought a lot of things that weren't true. The first week of marriage felt almost unreal. I'd wake up and see her beside me, hair all over the pillow, breathing soft, and I'd feel something I hadn't in years, peace. She cooked, she cleaned, she kissed me like she meant it. Leo clung to my arm every time I came through the door. I didn't know those little moments were recording themselves in my memory just so they could hurt later. But the shift started quietly. The first time she slipped out of bed at 2 a.m., I thought she was going to the bathroom. The floor creaked softly, then silence. I lifted my head, half asleep, watching her shadow slide across the wall. She didn't return for 10 minutes. When she finally crawled back into bed, her skin was cold, like she'd been standing near an open window. "You good?" I whispered. "Just insomnia," she murmured. I believed her. You believe the person you just married. You believe the woman who cried on her wedding night because she couldn't believe God blessed her with a man like you. I held her until she fell asleep again. The second time she slipped out, she took her phone with her. Something inside me tightened. When she came back, she smelled faintly of men's deodorant, not mine. She hated the brand I used. Told me once it was too sharp. I switched to something else just to make her happy. But that night, that scent clung to her neck. "Why were you up so long?" I asked. She hesitated. "Too long. Just restless." Her voice wavered, but I convinced myself it was exhaustion. The mind protects itself in stupid ways. And I let it. That same night, something else happened. Around 3 a.m., just as I was drifting off again, a soft thud echoed from the hallway. Not loud. Not enough to scream danger. Just enough to wake me fully. Enough to tell my body something was off. I swung my legs out of bed, padded quietly to the door, and peeked into the hallway. The air felt wrong. Heavy, like someone had been standing their seconds before I stepped out. Another faint sound. A shift. A shuffle. Coming from the guest room. I walked over slowly, heartbeat rising with each step. My hand wrapped around the knob. It didn't turn. But why would a guest room be locked at 3 a.m.? Why would a room we never used, a room with nothing inside but boxes she insisted on sorting later, be locked from the inside? I leaned my forehead against the door, listening. Silence. but the kind of silence that feels like someone holding their breath on the other side. A chill crawls up my spine. Something is living inside my house. And the chapter of my life I thought I understood stops right there, on a locked door in the middle of the night. The morning after the locked door incident, Risa moves around the kitchen like nothing happened. Hair wrapped, robe tied tight, humming under her breath as she flips pancakes for Leo, her son from another man. Her ease grinds at me. I'm still replaying the thud at 3 a.m., the locked knob, the cold air in the hallway, yet she stands there smiling like my mind imagined everything. I wait until Leo runs off to the living room before I ask quietly, "You were up again last night?" She doesn't flinch. Doesn't even pause mid-pour. "Oh, that." She shrugs. "Sometimes I sleepwalk when I'm stressed." The lie is too smooth. Too quick. Too practiced. She says it like someone who's said it before to someone else. "Sleepwalk." I echo. She nods gently, face softening as if she's comforting me instead of explaining herself. "It comes and goes. I didn't want to worry you." I watch her carefully. No nervous blinking. No fidgeting. No hesitation. Her voice holds steady like she's reading from a script she memorized. But her calmness is the problem. Real sleepwalkers don't calmly explain their midnight disappearances. Real stress doesn't smell like a deodorant I've never worn. I don't push it. Not yet. I just store her answer somewhere deep, right beside the locked guest room door. That day becomes the first day I start paying attention. I start noticing patterns, not loud ones, not obvious ones. Quiet things. The small things people don't hide because they forget someone might be watching. The first thing I notice is her shoes. She keeps a pair of slip-on flats by the back door. Always facing outward. Always resting perfectly side by side. Before marriage, she never kept shoes there. But now, every morning I see them. Dust on the soles. Grass blades stuck in the edges. Dirt smudges from the yard. Shoes don't lie. Then there's her phone. She used to leave it on the counter, charging overnight. Now she carries it everywhere. Shower. Laundry room. Bedroom. Kitchen. Always face down. Always locked the second I walk near her. She smiles when she does it, pretending she's checking a recipe or a message from work. But the smile is too tight. Too careful. The third thing I notice is the keys. At night, her car keys vanish from the hook. I track it for a week without letting her know. Every night around 2 a.m., the same hour she slips out of bed, the keys disappear. Every morning by 6:30, they're back on the hook like nothing happened. Patterns don't hide when you stop trusting the person you're studying. One warm afternoon, while I'm taking out the trash, I catch Mrs. Callahan staring at our house from across her yard. Not just looking. Staring. Her chin lifted, eyes narrowed, like she's reading the walls. She doesn't break eye contact when I step outside. "You all right, ma'am?" I call out gently. She startles, then waves a shaky hand. "Oh yes, baby. I'm just admiring the neighborhood." But she isn't admiring anything. She's watching. Watching long enough to make me wonder what she's seen when I'm not home. She walks back inside slowly, glancing over her shoulder once more. A glance filled with something heavier than curiosity. I file that away too. By now, everything in the house feels slightly off balance, like the air carries conversations that were whispered while I slept. Risa laughs too loudly during dinner. She clings to my arm when Leo's around. She kisses me with a kind of rush, like she's covering something desperate. And then, one afternoon, everything sharpens. It happens in the laundry room. I'm moving clothes from the hamper to the washer when something red catches my eye. A crumpled hoodie buried under towels. I pull it out. It's heavy with sweat. Size XXL printed on the tag. I don't wear XXL. None of my friends wear XXL. Leo certainly doesn't. The smell hits me next, strong, musky, unfamiliar. A scent that doesn't live anywhere in this house. My stomach tightens, my fingers clench the fabric, and the room suddenly feels too small to breathe in. This hoodie didn't walk into my laundry on its own. Someone else did. And they were close enough to my wife to leave their clothes in her hamper. Risa finds me in the living room that evening, folding laundry I already finished 20 minutes ago. I left the XXL hoodie buried under the clean towels, hidden for now. My mind is running, but my face stays calm. She walks toward me slowly, her eyes already glossy. I know that look. It's the same one she used the night she told me she couldn't believe she finally found a man who stayed. She stops right in front of me. Tess, can we talk? I nod, keeping my breathing steady. She sits beside me and takes my hand with both of hers. Her grip shakes. Her voice comes out soft, cracked at the edges. I don't know what's happening to me lately. I feel like I'm losing control. I wait. Then she breaks. Her shoulders tremble first. Then tears spill, fast, heavy, messy. She leans into my chest like she's drowning, and I'm the only thing keeping her above water. I've been trying so hard to be good, she cries. To be the wife you deserve. But sometimes everything from my past hits me all at once. I ask gently, what past, Risa? She inhales sharply, like I touched a bruise. You don't understand what it's like to be abandoned, she whispers. To have someone you loved ripped out of your life. To have to raise a child alone. To be scared every day that if someone finds out how broken you are, they'll leave too. Her words come out raw, emotional, almost convincing. Almost. But the timing is too perfect. The tears fall too quickly. The story feels too practiced, like she's recited it in the mirror before using it on someone else. She squeezes my hand harder. Please. I'm scared of losing you. There it is. The guilt flip. She shifts the weight from her strange behavior onto my supposed distance. She turns her secrets into my responsibility. I keep my face soft, my voice steady, even though something tightens in my chest. You're not losing me, I say quietly. But I need honesty. She nods rapidly, too rapidly. I know. And I'm trying. Just give me grace. I'm healing. Healing from what? And why does healing smell like another man's deodorant? But I don't say any of that. Not yet. Leo runs into the room at that moment, clutching a toy truck. His cheeks are sticky with fruit juice, his smile bright. He climbs onto Risa's lap and leans his head against her shoulder. Mama, he says sweetly, when Daddy come home? The air freezes. Risa stiffens. Leo looks up at her, confused by her sudden silence. My stomach drops like the floor just gave out under me. But I keep my face still, just raising an eyebrow like I didn't hear what I know I just heard. She laughs too loudly, patting Leo's back. Oh baby, you misunderstood me earlier, she says quickly. Go play, okay? Leo nods, hops off her lap, and runs back to the hallway. I watch her carefully. Her breathing changes. Her eyes avoid mine. Her fingers tap against her knee, fast, panicked. She felt that slip. She felt the truth leaking through the cracks. She wipes her face with her sleeve, collecting herself with a speed that should terrify me more than it does. Jace, please don't overthink anything I said. I'm just overwhelmed. I nod again, playing the role she believes I'll always play, the calm husband who swallows discomfort, who loves too deeply to push back, who trusts too easily. But inside, something shifts. Her tears didn't cleanse anything. They confirmed everything. That night, the house feels heavier. Risa cooks dinner quietly. Leo falls asleep early. The air carries something thick and invisible, like secrets trying to seep through the walls. Around midnight, just as sleep is pulling at my eyelids, her phone vibrates beside her on the nightstand. She grabs it fast. Too fast. She slips out of bed and steps into the hallway. I follow softly, stopping at the corner before she notices. Her voice is low. Urgent. The same tone she used the night she whispered, "Hurry, Drex." I lean closer. "Not yet," she murmurs. The pause. "Not tonight." My blood chills. She ends the call, stands still for a moment, then walks back toward the bedroom, completely unaware that I'm in the shadows, listening. And whatever "not tonight" means, it's only a matter of time before tonight becomes yes. The house changes at night. It doesn't creak, it exhales. Slow, heavy breaths moving through the hallway like something alive. I used to blame old pipes or settling wood, but now, after everything I've started noticing, it feels intentional. Like the walls are listening. Tonight, the shift hits at 2:18 a.m. I'm half asleep when a sound slices through the quiet. Not loud. Not sharp. Just whispering. A thin thread of voices drifting through the dark hall, like two people murmuring secrets inches from my door. My eyes snap open. Risa is beside me, turned toward the wall, breathing slow and deep. Her hand rests on her pillow, relaxed. No tension in her shoulders. No movement under the covers. She looks like someone who's been asleep for hours. But the whispering gets clearer. I hold my breath and listen. One voice low. Another higher. Fess. Urgent. I slide out of bed carefully, lifting the blanket an inch at a time so it doesn't make a sound. My feet touch the floor. Cold. Too cold. The kind of cold that doesn't belong in a heated home. The whispers fade the second I step into the hallway. And that's worse. It feels like someone heard me. I move down the hall slowly, letting my eyes adjust to the shadows stretching along the floor. The air smells different, damp, metallic, mixed with something else. Something smoky. I stop at the guest room door. The scent is strongest here. A stale, acrid smell, cigarette smoke. But no one in this house smokes. Neither do the neighbors close enough for their scent to drift through my windows. And the smell isn't faint or distant. It's concentrated. Fresh. I test the door handle gently. But thin. I lean close and inhale. Cigarette smoke. Old sweat. Something like cheap cologne. My chest tightens. I take a slow step back, eyes still on the door. The house isn't just breathing anymore. It feels like it's hiding something inside that small room, something pressing against the walls in the dark. I walk toward the kitchen on quiet feet. Every shadow feels deeper. Every sound echoes too long. I reach the back door. The lock stares back at me, dangling loose. Unlocked. My jaw clenches. I locked this door myself before bed. I jiggled the handle twice, checked it out of habit, because habit is all I have left to keep my mind steady in this place. Now it's open. Just like the nights Risa sleepwalked. Just like the nights she slipped out and slipped back in with that scent on her skin. I lower my face toward the lock. There's a faint oily smear on the knob, the kind a sweaty hand leaves when someone opens a door quickly. My pulse rises. My fingers tremble. Someone was here again. I step outside, letting the door rest lightly against the frame so it doesn't slam. The night air wraps around me, cold, thick, heavy. The backyard is dim except for the weak glow of the motion light near the fence. I walk slowly, eyes scanning the grass, the walkway, the edges of the house where shadows pool like dark water. Something crunches under my shoe. I look down. At first, I think it's just a patch of disturbed soil. Then I crouch, touch the ground, and feel the depth of the indent. A footprint. Fresh. The dirt is still moist around the edges. The shape is large, too large for mine. Whoever left it stepped hard, heel first, like someone carrying weight on their back or dragging something behind them. I follow the prints as they curve toward the side of the house, toward the guest room window. The grass is pressed down, darkened by the weight. I stop directly beneath the window and look up. There, right under the ledge, the prints deepen. The pattern changes, like someone stood here for a while, waiting, watching, listening. My breath shakes as I crouch again, touching the cold earth. Another footprint. And another. All pointing the same direction. Toward my house. Toward my guest room. Toward my wife. I lift my head slowly, scanning the darkness behind the fence, the alleyway beyond it, the shadows that refuse to move. The night is silent, but the ground at my feet tells the truth. Someone has been standing outside my home, watching, waiting, and the footprints are so fresh, they could have been made minutes ago. By the time the sun sets, my decision is already made. I can't wait for another whisper at 2 a.m. I can't wait for another warm chair, another footprint, another lie slipping through Reese's mouth like honey covering poison. Tonight, I need to see the truth with my own eyes. So I pack a suitcase, loud enough for her to hear the zipper, soft enough to hide the tremor in my hands. A pair of jeans, 2 shirts, 1 empty folder. Nothing that actually matters. Just enough to look real. I grab my phone, pull up the Uber app, and hold it in front of her as she stands by the kitchen counter drying a glass. Babe, I say lightly, Mom's not feeling well. I'm gonna fly out to Houston. She freezes. Just half a second. But her eyes flicker. Her breathing changes. Her fingers tighten around the glass before she forces a smile onto her lips. Oh wow. Okay, she says softly. I wish you'd told me earlier. I didn't want to worry you. She nods. You'll be back soon? Of course. She walks toward me, kisses my cheek a little too gently, a little too rehearsed. Her hands hover around my shoulders like she's checking something, confirming something, then pulling away before she reveals too much. Safe flight, Jace. I smile and step outside. The Uber arrives, real driver, real car, but I wave him off with a quick, sorry, wrong pickup, and watch the taillights disappear down the street. My house sits behind me under the quiet Atlanta sky, warm light glowing from the living room. The same house I've worked for. The same house I thought love lived in. I walk 3 houses down, staying in the shadows where the streetlights crackle. Mrs. Callahan's porch is dim, the rocking chair still, her potted lavenders sagging in the humidity. I crouch behind her camellia bushes, the same ones that shielded me once before. My heart punches against my ribs. This is it. No more guessing. No more hoping. Minutes pass, slow, sticky minutes that cling to my skin like sweat. Then the porch light flicks on. Mrs. Callahan steps outside wearing a nightgown and house shoes, holding a small flashlight pointed toward the ground. She doesn't look surprised to see me crouched there. If anything, she looks sad. Like she already knows what I'm about to discover. She leans in close, her voice a dry whisper blown across the dark. You gon' need courage tonight, baby. The words settle in my bones. Not a warning. A confirmation. What did you see before? I whisper back. She shakes her head slowly. Not yet. But just watch. She retreats into her house, leaving the porch light low, just enough to paint shadows across the yard. I turn my eyes back toward my home. My living room light is off now. Reese's silhouette moves across the blinds, fast, anxious, switching from room to room like she's preparing for something. I see her check the window twice. Then again. She thinks I'm at the airport. The night deepens around me. Crickets fade. Even the breeze quiets. Then movement. A dark figure appears at the far end of the alley. Tall, slow-moving, familiar in the worst possible way. Not sneaking. Not afraid. Just comfortable. Like he's done this walk so many times his body knows the path by heart. He pauses halfway, looks behind himself, then scans the house like he's checking an invisible list. My breath lodges in my throat. He edges closer, sticking to the fence line, stepping carefully between shadows. He checks the alley twice. Then the backyard gate. Then the guest room window. He tilts his head, studying the house with the confidence of someone who knows exactly what waits on the other side. Risa is inside. The door is waiting, and he's making sure no one sees him enter. Except me. I sink deeper behind the bushes, heart thundering so loud I swear it shakes the leaves. The figure steps closer, the moon catching just enough of his outline to show the truth. He's not confused. He's not lost. He's not nervous. He's arriving. And he's arriving like a man returning home. The moment Drex's head snaps toward the window, I press myself deeper into the bushes. Leaves scrape my cheek, my breath locking in my chest. His eyes scan the night for a long, terrifying second. Then he steps back inside and pulls the curtain shut. Only when the hallway light flicks off do I allow myself to breathe. I don't leave my hiding spot. Not yet. Not while he's awake. So I stay crouched beside Mrs. Callahan's porch until the night thins and the first weak gray of morning creeps across the street. My legs ache. My palms are damp. My mind feels like someone split it open and poured ice into it. At 5:52 a.m., the house finally settles. No movement behind the blinds. No shadows passing. Nothing. I wait another 10 minutes before slipping out from the bushes and walking home quietly, head low, body heavy with the kind of dread that sits in the bones. The house smells the same. Looks the same. But I don't. I walk down the hall slowly, stopping in front of the guest room, the room he disappeared into after Risa led him down the corridor. The door is shut. Not locked. Just shut. That alone tells me everything. He's still inside. Sleeping. Breathing. Existing behind that thin piece of wood. My stomach twists. I force myself to step back before my anger does something stupid. I turn toward the kitchen, staying silent. Leo is still asleep. Risa's bedroom door is cracked. I can hear her faint snoring. She must have slipped back into bed an hour ago. I walk into the master bedroom, shutting the door softly behind me. I know what I'm looking for. I just don't know where she hid it. I search the drawers first, then beneath the bed, then behind the laundry basket. Nothing. My pulse picks up. My breaths tighten. Then I notice it, a slight gap behind her row of handbags. A space too neat to be accidental. I slide my hand back there. My fingers hit something stiff. A folder. Thin. Beige. Ribbon wrapped around it like she wanted it to look innocent. My chest pounds as I open it. Pages. Forms. Documents with my name printed clean across the top. Life insurance. Beneficiary, Risa Morgan. Updated, 17 days after the wedding. Updated fast. Updated confidently. Updated like someone preparing for something. My hand trembles as I flip to the next page. Notes in her handwriting. Amounts. Dates. Deadlines. One line is highlighted, payout triggered by accidental death. My fingers tighten around the paper. The house behind me stays silent. But inside my head, something collapses. This folder isn't for a future with me. It's for a future without me. I don't remember walking to my car. I don't remember driving across town. My mind is running on something sharp, pure instinct, while my hands move automatically through Atlanta's morning traffic. All I know is that the folder in my passenger seat feels heavier than paper should. Heavier than ink. Heavier than air. By 9:10 a.m., I'm inside a quiet law office on Peachtree. The receptionist asks my name. I can't make my voice steady. I hand her the folder instead. She looks at it, then at me, and her expression shifts, like she sees something broken in my face. 2 minutes later, I'm sitting in a glass-walled room across from a man in his 50s. Lawyer. Gray suit. Eyes that look like they've seen every kind of ruin. He opens the folder slowly, page by page. He doesn't rush. He doesn't blink much. He just reads. When he finally looks up, his entire expression changes. Not confused. Not surprised. Concerned. Where did you get these? He asks. My wife's side of the closet, I say quietly. Behind her handbags. He exhales heavily, leaning back. Mr. Morgan, these are what we call pre-incident preparations. The words land like a fist. What does that mean? My voice comes out lower than I expect. It means, he says carefully, someone is arranging paperwork and financial positioning before they intend to report an accident. These aren't normal documents. They're staged, prepared, timed. He taps the date on the insurance update. 17 days after your wedding? That's not sentimental. That's strategic. My throat goes dry. He slides another sheet toward me. This isn't an old policy. It's newly purchased. And it's structured so the payout is clear, fast, and unquestioned if the cause of death is ruled accidental. He pauses. Mr. Morgan, someone is planning something. I stare at the documents. The numbers. My name. The highlighted sections. The room begins to tilt. The lawyer hesitates, then lowers his voice. Do you feel safe in your home? I don't answer. Because right now, I don't know what safe even means. I leave the office with the folder tucked under my arm, my pulse thudding in my ears. The city moves around me like I'm underwater. Sirens, traffic, conversations, none of it registers. In the car, I finally allow myself to open Risa's phone logs again. Not messages, just logs. Call durations. Patterns. And then I check something I hadn't before. Deleted messages. They're still recoverable through our carrier app. My fingers shake as I scroll through the restored thread. Risa, he leaves for work at 7:30. Dear X, that's perfect. Morning is better. Risa, you sure it won't look suspicious? Dix, accidents never do. My stomach twists. I scroll further. Risa, we need the money. Leo needs it too. Dix, he's not gonna be around to question anything. The text thread blurs. I squeeze my eyes shut. The mind does something cruel in moments like this. It shows you every scene of your life with that person, then cracks each one apart until you can't tell what was real. I pull down the mirror inside my car and look at myself. Really look. My eyes look older. My jaw is clenched so tight it aches. I don't recognize the man staring back. Not the trusting husband. Not the provider. Not the man who thought he'd finally built a home. I grip the steering wheel, breathing through the panic swelling in my chest. Everything inside me spirals between fear, anger, heartbreak, disbelief. How long has she been planning this? How long has Drex been watching me? Waiting? Moving around my home like he's already measured the distance between life and death? I put the mirror back up, face blank, hands unsteady. When I walk back into the house later that day, Risa is in the kitchen wiping down the counter like it's any normal afternoon. She turns, gives me a soft smile, walks over, wraps her arms around me. I stand still in her arms. Her perfume settles on my collar. Her fingers trace my back. She feels warm, alive, comfortable in my presence. Meanwhile, her death plan with my name is sitting in my jacket pocket. I pull away with a quiet, I'm gonna shower. She nods and kisses my cheek, unaware of the truth unraveling inches from her. Inside the bathroom, I lock the door and stare at the mirror again, gripping the sink until my knuckles pale. My reflection looks hollow, haunted. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not knowing when the attempt is coming. Act normal. That's what the lawyer told me before I walked out of his office. Don't let her sense the shift, he warned. People planning something, they watch reactions. So I push everything down, fear, rage, betrayal, deep enough that my face shows nothing but quiet routine. When I come downstairs that evening, Risa pauses mid-stir at the stove. Her eyes stay on me a second too long. She's reading me, testing me, measuring whether I know anything. I pour a glass of water with steady hands. "How's your mom?" she asks casually. "Better," I say. "I'm glad I went." Her fingers tighten around the spoon. She heard the lie. She tasted it. But she doesn't call it out. She just watches. I sit at the table, scrolling through my phone like the world hasn't flipped upside down. Leo climbs onto my lap and rests his head on my shoulder. I steady my breath so my shaking doesn't reach him. Risa studies me while pretending not to. Her eyes move the way a snake's tongue flicks, quick, testing the air. Dinner is quiet. She sits closer than usual. Touches my arm twice. Laughs at something that wasn't funny. And the entire time I feel her checking my heartbeat through her fingertips. She knows something changed. She just doesn't know what. That night, as we get ready for bed, I move carefully, calmly, like I'm sleepwalking through my own life. She reaches for me under the covers, but I shift slightly, pretending I'm adjusting the pillow. Her breath changes. Suspicion. Not anger. Suspicion. We turn off the lights. The room drifts into darkness. Risa's body goes warm and still beside me. Her breathing evens out. The house settles too. Slow creaks, soft humming from the fridge, the familiar sigh of old wood. But deep in the hallway, behind the guest room door, there's a different silence. A waiting one. Because Drex is in there. Right now. Feet away from where I'm lying. Breathing in the same air I pay the mortgage for. My fingers close slowly around the tiny camera I taped beneath the nightstand earlier. It connects wirelessly to the old tablet I hid behind the bathroom hamper. I wait 20 minutes. Then another 10. Once Risa's breaths settle into a rhythm she can't fake, I ease out of bed and walk into the bathroom, shutting the door just enough to leave a crack. I pull the tablet from behind the hamper. The cameras are small, motion sensitive, silent. 2 in the hallway. 1 near the back door. 1 inside the guest room, hidden behind the vent grate. The feed loads. Black and white. Grainy. But clear enough to know the truth. Drex is there. Sitting on the edge of the guest room bed. Head down. Hands clasped. Waiting. For what? For when? For who? I swallow hard, watching the tiny screen deepen into darker shades of threat. He stands, stretches his arms slowly, rolls his shoulders, prison routine still alive in his body. Then he paces the room twice, stopping at the door. He listens. For me. For Risa. For the house breathing. I turn off the tablet before my hand shakes enough to drop it. When I return to bed, Risa shifts slightly. Her eyes remain closed, but her body tenses. She senses my energy like an animal senses a storm approaching. I close my eyes and force myself to breathe. Minutes stretch into something that feels like hours. The next morning, Leo gives me the last piece I need without even knowing he's saving my life. He's sitting at the kitchen table, swinging his legs, tapping his spoon against his cereal bowl. Risa is in the bathroom, humming to herself while fixing her hair. Leo looks up at me and whispers, "Daddy said he coming again tonight." My entire body freezes. I look at him slowly. "When did he tell you that?" "This morning," he says proudly. "He said to keep quiet." Then he whispers, "But I tell you, 'cause you my friend." My lungs tighten. My face stays calm. I rub his shoulder and nod. "You did good." Risa steps out of the bathroom, smiling too brightly. "Morning, babe," she says, kissing my cheek. "You look tired." I force a smile. "Didn't sleep well." She studies me again, Same way she has been the last few days, searching for cracks. But the only cracks showing now are in her plan. By noon, I've already made up my mind. Tonight won't be another night of watching. Tonight is the night I end this. I spend the afternoon checking the cameras, adjusting angles, testing motion sensors, ensuring nothing is out of place. The camera hidden in the hallway vent stays fixed on the precise stretch Drex uses whenever he slips out of the guest room. Another sits near the back door. Another above the stairwell. Another pointed directly into the living room. By 7 p.m., everything is locked into place. Risa is distracted, scrolling through her phone, texting too fast. She doesn't notice me pocket a spare camera and slip it behind the guest room frame. She doesn't notice me wearing a different smartwatch, one that streams the camera feed quietly to my wrist. She doesn't notice anything except whatever Drex is planning. At 8:13 p.m., she sends Leo to bed early. He protests for 2 seconds until she snaps, "Go." Her patience is thinner tonight. At 9 p.m., I tell her I'm taking a drive to clear my head. Her reaction is too calm. Too ready. "Take your time," she says. She doesn't kiss me this time. She doesn't touch me. She just smiles at the floor, a small, secret smile that chills me to the bone. I grab my keys, step outside, and head straight to Mrs. Callahan's fence. She's already on her porch, rocking slowly, hands folded in her lap. When she sees me, her eyes soften with something between fear and recognition. "You gon' do something tonight?" she murmurs. "I have to," I say quietly. She stands, walks to me, and places her hands on my shoulders, firm, trembling. "Lord, keep this boy alive," she whispers. "Whatever's creeping in that house ain't meant to stay. But you be careful. Evil fights hardest when it knows it's caught." Her prayer settles over me like armor. I nod once, step behind her privacy fence, and crouch low. From here, I can see my kitchen window, my hallway, my back door, all without being seen. At 1:48 a.m., my smartwatch vibrates. Motion triggered. Hallway. I glance at the screen. Risa is pacing in the kitchen, checking her phone. Her body is rigid. Her hands keep shaking. At 1:59 a.m., she moves to the back door. My heart thuds so hard the leaves around me shake. At 2 a.m., she unlocks it. She pulls the door open just enough for someone to slip in. Drex enters the house again, hood low, jaw set, moving with predatory ease. He leans in, whispers something into her ear. She nods once, then closes the door quietly. That's when my watch vibrates again. Another motion alert. I check the feed. Risa's phone screen glows bright. A new message pops up. From Drex. I watch her thumb move over the keyboard. She types quickly, deliberately, without hesitation. The message appears on the feed just as she hits send. "Risa, he's going to die tonight." My breath stops. Every muscle in my body freezes. And the trap I've been building all day suddenly feels like it might need to be sprung faster than I planned. The moment I read the message, "He's going to die tonight," something inside me snaps into survival mode. No more patience. No more watching from the bushes. Tonight is the night everything explodes. I slip behind Mrs. Callahan's fence and dial the detective the lawyer referred me to earlier. I keep my voice low, tight, controlled. "It's happening now," I whisper. "He's entering my home tonight." The detective doesn't hesitate. "We're 2 minutes away. Stay hidden." 2 minutes. 2 minutes between living and whatever they planned for me. I crouch deeper into the shadows. Mrs. Callahan cracks her screen door open and whispers, "I'm praying, baby. Hold on." At 1:58 a.m., my watch vibrates. Motion alert, hallway. Risa. She flicks the porch light off. Twists the lock. Stands there breathing in fast little bursts like she's excited, not terrified. My stomach turns. She opens the back door at 2 a.m. sharp. Hurry, she whispers into the darkness. Go, 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 before he hears anything. She still thinks I'm inside. Vulnerable. Drex appears from the shadows with that same prison swagger. Loose shoulders, head lowered, steps silent and precise. But tonight he's different. Tonight he's carrying something. A long, wrapped object tucked under his jacket. Something thick. Something with edges. Something that isn't meant for intimidation. Something meant to finish a job. Risa pushes the door wider. Get in. Drex slips inside, pulls the door halfway shut, and unwraps the object just enough for the moonlight to catch it. My blood goes cold. A metal bar. Polished. Weighted. Tape around the handle for grip. Not a warning. Not a threat. A weapon. He tests the weight in his hand like he's rehearsing the swing. Risa watches him with that same hungry tension she had the first night I saw them together. Like this violence is something she's waited for. Motion alert. Another vibration on my wrist. Upstairs. He starts crying. A small, sleepy cry. Confused. Upset. Risa stiffens. Shoo. He'll wake him. Drex shrugs. He ain't gonna matter in a minute. My chest tightens. Everything in me tightens. Leo's cry gets louder. A frightened whimper. Risa panics. Go now. Before he comes down. Drex steps forward, metal bar glinting. He moves toward the hallway. Right toward the stairs. Right toward Leo. Right toward the place they think I'm sleeping. My breath shakes. My fingers dig into the fence. I'm seconds from bolting out of hiding and throwing myself through the door. But headlights flash at the end of the driveway. Silent. Quick. Precise. 2 unmarked police cars slide into position like shadows snapping into place. Doors open without sound. Officers spill out, guns drawn low, moving in formation toward the back of my house. One officer glances toward where I'm hiding, palm flat down. Stay. Don't move. My heartbeat is an earthquake inside my chest. Risa reappears in the doorway, frantic. Drex, go now. Drex grips the metal bar tighter. He's done. Tonight. Leo cries again. Risa whirls, panicked. Oh my God, he's waking up. Drex mutters. Then we end it before he hears anything. He takes 3 long steps toward the hallway. The officers close in. Risa turns back toward the door, and she freezes. Because the movement hits her peripheral vision just a second too late. Police light. Flashlights. Shadows. Figures rushing. The back door explodes inward. Police. Drop the weapon. The house erupts. Risa screams. Leo wails upstairs. Drex whips around, metal bar raised. Everything shakes. Floor, walls, blood, breath. One officer yells, down. Down now. Another, drop it. Drex charges toward the hall. Risa ducks, covering her head. And then, a sound cuts through the entire house. Chirp. High-pitched. A scream. I don't know whose it is. Risa's. Drex's. Leo's. One of the officers. It doesn't matter. Because the moment that scream hits the air, my entire world splits open. The scream is still ringing in my ears when I sprint out from behind Mrs. Callahan's fence. The backyard is chaos. Flashlights slicing through the dark, officers shouting commands. Risa sobbing into her hands while Drex thrashes on the floor with a knee pressed into his spine. Don't move. An officer barks as Drex tries to twist around. Another officer secures the metal bar, kicking it across the tile. It clangs once, spinning, reflecting blue light across the walls. Risa flinches with every echo. Leo's crying upstairs cuts through everything, sharp and terrified. My legs move before my mind catches up. I bolt up the stairs, grab him from the hallway, press his head into my shoulder. He clings to me, shaking. "It's okay," I whisper, though nothing is okay. "I've got you now." When I come back down, the living room is full of blue lights, moving bodies, and voices layered over one another. An officer approaches Risa first. "Ma'am, we need you to speak clearly. Who is this man? Why is he in your home with a weapon?" Risa collapses onto the couch, shaking all over, mascara smearing down her cheeks. He forced me," she cries. "He threatened me. I didn't have a choice. I swear I didn't know he was going to. Her voice breaks as she hides her face. Drex lifts his head, eyes blazing. "Forced you?" he spits. "You lying." "Shut up." Risa screams, trembling violently. "You planned everything. You put me in danger. You..." Drex lunges forward despite the officers holding him. "You planned it," he roars. "You wanted his money. You said you were broke. You said you couldn't survive unless he was gone." Risa shakes her head wildly. "He's lying. He's lying." "Shut your mouth," Drex growls, voice cracking. "You said he trusted you. You said he was easy. You told me when he left the house, when he slept, what he ate, how to make it look like an accident." Risa screams again, covering her ears. The officers freeze for a second, because this isn't normal. This isn't petty crime. This is premeditation unraveling in real time. "Everybody calm down," the lead officer commands. "We need statements, separately." One officer pulls me aside. "Mr. Morgan, we have your wife on body cam opening the door for him. We have him entering with a concealed weapon. We caught the mid-act." I nod, barely hearing him over my own pulse. Another officer approaches. "Sir, do we have your permission to search the house? For evidence, communication, anything that supports the incident." I look at Risa, curled into the couch, shaking but watching me through her fingers. "Yes," I say. "Search everything." They already started. Two officers step into the guest room with gloves on. Another checks the kitchen drawers. One reviews Risa's phone with a digital extraction device connected to a tablet. And then I hear it. Found text messages. Deleted ones. Risa shoots up from the couch. No, please, don't look through." The officer ignores her. Drex laughs bitterly from the floor. "Go on. Show him." The officer scrolls through the recovered messages. Risa's words appear. Not spoken. Not acted. Written. Permanently. "We need the payout. He leaves early tomorrow. Make sure it looks clean. He won't see it coming." My breath leaves my body. Risa freezes like she's been shot. Those were old," she chokes out. "He pressured me. I never meant." "Stop lying," Drex snaps. "You said Leo needed it too." Her face collapses. "I didn't mean." "You meant every bit," Drex snarls. "You were going to take the money and run. Said I was stupid to trust you. Said we'd be rich because he had no one to question anything." Risa covers her mouth, sobbing. The room spins slower now, like the world is adjusting to the truth settling in. I stand completely still. Leo is still in my arms. The officers' radios crackle. The room glows blue. And Risa's entire future is falling apart in front of her. An officer pulls me aside gently. "Sir, just so you know, your home surveillance, the body cams, their verbal exchanges. This case is airtight. You're safe now." The word feels foreign. Then my phone vibrates in my pocket. I shift Leo to one arm and pull it out. A new notification flashes across the screen. Bank alert. Attempted access to your primary account, 10 minutes ago. My blood runs cold. 10 minutes ago, when all this chaos started. And the access attempt came from inside my house. The house is quiet again. Not the dangerous quiet it carried for weeks, the kind that lived in walls and crept through floors. This quiet is different. It's mine. Drex was taken into custody that night. Risa was arrested shortly after, her shaking hands cuffed behind her back, mascara smeared, breath hitching as she told the officers she never meant for any of this. The evidence crushed every word she tried to twist. The next morning, I walked into the courthouse with paperwork already drafted. Divorce filed. Protective order submitted. House deed secured under emergency spousal protection. By the afternoon, the judge granted me full ownership of the home until the criminal case is resolved. Risa's attempts to access my bank account were included in the police report, and that sealed her fate. I blocked her number, blocked her email, blocked every pathway she used to reach me. Silence feels like recovery. Leo's grandmother, Risa's mother, took custody of him temporarily after the arrest. When she brought him to the precinct that night, she avoided my eyes. Not because she was guilty, but because she was heartbroken. She held Leo close, tears clinging to her lashes. "I didn't know," she whispered. "If I had known, I would have protected you too." I believed her. As they walked away, Leo twisted in her arms, reaching toward me with small fingers. "Jace." His voice cracked my chest in places I didn't know were breakable. I crouched down, brushing his hair gently. "You're gonna stay with Grandma for a little while, okay?" He nodded slowly, lip wobbling. "You be good for her," I added. "And when everything is settled, you can come visit. I'm not going anywhere." He pressed his forehead against mine for a second. Just 1 second. Enough to carve a permanent place for him in whatever my future becomes. Now the house feels unfamiliar but honest. Every room carrying the echo of what almost happened, but also the proof that I made it through. I move through each space slowly, reclaiming them. The kitchen where Risa whispered lies. The hallway where Drex studied the shadows. The bedroom where danger stood over me in silence. I open windows. Clean floors. Throw away sheets. Scrub the guest room until the air smells like lemon instead of cigarette smoke and betrayal. Piece by piece, the house exhales the last of them. In the afternoon, Mrs. Callahan stands by the fence, watching me rake the backyard. She waves me over with a slow curl of her hand. "You holding up?" she asks, studying my face the way a mother studies a son who came home bleeding. "I'm standing," I say. "That's enough for now." She nods, leaning on the fence. "You want to know something?" I wait. She sighs, lowering her voice. "I've been watching that man for weeks. Not 'cause I'm nosy, well, maybe a little, but 'cause I seen something like this before. Long time ago. Different house down the street. Nice woman. Nice husband. Same quiet movements at night. My stomach tightens. What happened to them?" She stares toward my house, lips pressed together. "That man disappeared. Folks said he ran off. I knew better. The wife left town 2 weeks later. Nobody asked enough questions back then." A chill moves beneath my skin. Mrs. Callahan grips my hand, soft, warm, steady. I wasn't about to let evil repeat itself on my street. Her courage saved my life. I squeeze her hand back. "Thank you." She smiles. "You rebuild now, baby. Brick by brick. Breath by breath." When she goes inside, I remain in the yard, turning slowly toward the spot where I once crouched, where terror pinned my body to the dirt, where I watched my own marriage unravel through a cracked window. The grass is still flattened there. I walk to that exact place. Stand on the same soil. Under the same night sky. Facing the same house. But I'm not shaking this time. I'm not hiding. I'm not waiting for danger. I'm standing, breathing, alive. The wind moves through the trees, brushing against my shoulders like a final reminder of what was and what still could be. Because survival isn't the end of a story. It's the start of a new one. And something tells me, my new life is just beginning.